Wode Maya never stops. Nothing stops him. And if he's shooting a video, he has to finish shooting it and he has to post it. The YouTube earning reduced by 90%. I nearly died. I had to relocate.
Really?
That's what he said. I am quoting him. 6 to 6 from Monday to Saturday. And Saturdays you work maybe 7 to 12 or 2. You can do in 5 years what people do in 3 years.
Hello everyone, welcome to another exciting edition of Thrive in Africa podcast. Today I'm speaking with somebody who believes in building. And when I say building, not just physical structures, but also building lives and growing up as young people. He is the CEO of Groove Hub, a music production and promotion studio in Lakeside City. And he's also founder of Luxub Realty. And we are going to have a very exciting conversation. So come join me as I meet Engineer Viglo.
Yeah.
Welcome to Thrive in Africa podcast.
It's a privilege to meet you again, and I'm happy that you have grown fast. It's a big man. I've watched Thrive in Africa. I didn't know that I'll be featured on it this soon. I was working so hard so that next year by this time, I will get. I think time moves really fast.
It's a great pleasure to have you.
It's an honor to be here.
So, for my viewers who may not know you, just give me a brief introduction of yourself.
Yes, my name is Engineer Viglo, but I think my full name is Joshua Elikem Amegashie-Viglo. So I was born in Ho about 30 years ago. I'm a civil engineer, and I'm a bass player. I don't know which one came before the other, depending on who I'm talking to, because my paternal grandfather is a mason and blacksmith, and my maternal grandfather is a carpenter and construction foreman. I've spent my whole life on the construction site.
Wow.
Yes. Then my mom is a musician, and my father's mother is a musician.
Interesting.
Yes. So, though my father didn't like the fact that we were musicians, we couldn't help it. All three of us, children of his, are musicians.
Oh.
And then the last one is that my dad was a lecturer of African studies for 30 years.
Wow.
So by the time I realized how much I had passion for Africa and grooming people, trying to link the dots, I'm like, oh, okay. All these things have been in the blood. These are things that were being done. It's just that per the dispensation in which you find yourself, you will do it.
I see.
Yes.
So, do you say that, or do you hold the idea that what we become is like a reflection of everything we are made up of?
Yes, it's a reflection of a lot of things. Certainly parental influence.
Okay.
So whatever your parents do or wish they did, they will impose it on you. They will set up an environment for you. So that goes to the next one. The next one is the environment. So the environment in which you find yourself will determine the kind of professions you want to be. In the whole, I wanted to be a contractor. I didn't have professions like pilot in my scope because I don't even see planes. You understand? So the information you consume, your background, the environment in which you find yourself, the efficiency with which you work, because we don't have all the time. So if you work harder, you can hit your dreams sooner. But if you don't, then you have to settle for something else.
Wow. I didn't expect the conversation to get so deep so quickly.
Then let's hold it there for now.
So let's talk about what you do here. We are currently in Groove Hub Studios. What do you do here?
This place is a music production studio. As I said, I can't tell when I started playing music, but I started a YouTube channel in 2012.
Okay.
And upon request from people who I was sharing music videos with.
Okay.
And then I had to send the videos over and over again. And that time, data was more expensive than we could afford. So we realized that on YouTube and Facebook, we can keep the videos there and we can just share the link. So I was doing that.
Okay.
In 2000.
You started with what you had?
Yes, just I didn't even have anything there.
Okay.
So you go to the church, use the church's guitar, and then you use an older person's nice mobile phone, and then you shoot, then copy it on a pen drive. So all I had was a pen drive.
I see.
Then you go to an internet cafe and upload it.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
So all I had was that which was in the pen drive.
I see.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's what happened. But after school, 2018, people started requesting for specific videos. And one guy said, Viglo, if I give you $40, will you make a video for me? That was my first earning from my YouTube video, 2018. I said, if you give me $40, I'll make 2 videos for you.
Wow.
Yeah, that time $40 was about 300 cedis. But
Okay.
now, you know how much it is,
Yeah.
600 cedis. So that's how I started. So I started posting weekly, and then posting on YouTube was not common. So for the first time, I started posting consistently. My channel blew up. People started asking for music that was not existing.
Mm.
So the music doesn't exist. So I'll give you money to produce it for me. So okay. So it was the opportunities were telling our ways. I didn't plan to have a music studio with no. Each day with the opportunity that comes, I'm like, wow, people get paid for this. Okay. So we took the money, we did it. So okay. Then we don't have gadgets. COVID came. Let's build it for ourselves. Let's get investors. We put people together, we invested more money, and I'm glad I had some of the mentors and investors that I had. So through that, now it's a full music production space.
Wow. Fantastic. I mean, have you produced some popular songs that we don't know of?
If you were in the Volta region, a lot of the songs that they play on radio, people don't even know that I'm the one behind them.
Okay.
Yes. So, because initially I was playing bass, but for the songs, it's other people that.
Wow.
Yeah,
Can you give us at least maybe 1 or 2 examples?
Oh, yeah, every song. So I don't know. Like I'm not too good at singing.
Oh, okay.
You don't want to try, but I can give some of our artists. Kojo Sylvia.
Okay.
Is a good artist out there.
Wow.
And then
Amazing.
yes, Kojo Sylvia is there. Then David Living is there. Then Minister Jafar is there.
Okay.
So Minister Jafar's songs are every gospel musics
I see.
that you will hear. A lot of them. So we didn't script the popular ones, but we sang it, so the production is clearer and better.
Okay.
So the radio stations play them.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
So you can check them out.
I see.
I'm not too good at singing. I'm not good at the words.
Okay, no problem.
Yes.
No problem. So what about your real estate company?
Yes. So
yes. Tell us
I'm
about
glad
that.
you couldn't define whether what I was for the real estate company, because it's another thing that I jumped on. So because I was on YouTube when I was a civil engineer, while I was working at my former workplace, I wrote on my CV that I'm a YouTuber. Everybody else thought I was crazy except my director, who was not African.
Okay.
So it's like, oh wow, nice. Why not? So when COVID came, it's like, Viglo, you're the digital man, how can we sell without going to the office?
Wow.
So let's sell on YouTube.
Wow.
So we started creating content and using it to make sales. Like the company saw a wonderful shift in sales and massive growth. So that's when I got exposed to building a personal brand, because the music, it started as my name. When I saw an opportunity for it, I changed it to African Groove Up, because then I saw a surge in Africa.
Okay.
So African Groove Up. When I was registering it, they said it can't be Africa. So that's when the Africa was shrunk into a logo, and then the Groove Up remained.
Oh, okay.
But now I realized that personal brand sells more than even corporate brands for the start. So we have moved from the dispensation when corporate branding is there and it grooms people. That's when you have the money, because you set up a company with a lot of money. But now you can build a personal brand which is much cheaper to invest into and start off.
Yeah.
Then you can now use it to build corporate brands. So we started investing into my corporate brand even while I was an employee. So we realized that the company itself doesn't get traction like the person, because as a person I can see the truth as it is. And so if you watch my videos, you realize that some of the things I say is people don't
like your
it.
opinion.
Yes, you can hit on people.
Yeah.
You can say the facts, and people get emotionally offended. But on a corporate handle with logos, you cannot say that.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of tension around my work. Then I'm like, if I get into trouble, you put a disclaimer on me and you sack me. You dissociate yourself with it. But with that, we can actually gain audience. So I built my personal brand. So after I left, I realized that the personal brand was still getting traction, and people would want to deal with me as a company than as a person because of legal constraints.
I see.
That's how Luxub came up.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
So Luxub is real estate. So we started with brokerage, selling people's properties, but now we want to do our first development in the Volta region.
Wow. I mean, for context, when you were
Yes.
talking about you working with a company and all,
Yes.
it's not just any company. It was it was Silver Stars Properties, right?
I was working at Silver Star Tower. I left there as estate manager. So I was working there directly with the director.
I was shocked when I heard that you left. Because that was a big deal.
Myself, I was shocked. It's the best thing that has happened to me working there for
Okay.
6 years. I got the privilege to be mentored by Mr. Kawamoni and his other directors, very competent managers, vision driven, hardworking. We were virtually working 6 to 6, Monday to Saturday. If you work every Saturday, you are working at 20% more in delivery than someone who works from Monday to Friday. So whatever people do in 10 years, you can do it in 8 years.
Wow. I never thought of it that way.
Yes. And if you work 6 to 6, you are getting another 20%. So if you work 6 to 6 from Monday to Saturday, and Saturdays you work maybe 7 to 12 or 2, you can do in 5 years what people do in 3 years.
Fantastic.
Something people don't think about.
Fantastic.
And that's what differentiates us Africans and Japanese or Germans or US. So we wait to be 30 to be capable of affording vehicles, getting married, all those stuff. You see a serious minded person by 20, they are ready. Because 1 to 10 is just formation stages. 10 to 20, that's where we begin to acquire relevant skills and information. But some people, even at 30, they don't have anything in their head. They only know the names of celebrities. Sorry.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. So you can work that hard. Another thing that I did that really worked for me then was that I used to tell people that I was working 2 days a day.
Wow.
So what people would do in 10 years, I was doing it literally in 3 years. At home, I told you, but it made me sick, so don't try this at home. So I sleep from 6 to 8, then I work from 8 to midnight. And the thing about working from 8 to midnight is that around that time, if you're in Africa, the Americans are in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And a lot of my clients were in America. So it engaged my nights. And it troubled my relationships. I couldn't have time for my girls, which was a good thing. It was a good problem to have.
Wow. Interesting.
Yes.
There are a lot of punchlines you give, but you let me allow them to think about it.
Yes.
All right. So one very interesting thing about you, I don't know if you remember. You will not remember.
Yes, I don't remember.
The first time that I noticed how brilliant you were was in Keta school.
I didn't know I was brilliant in Keta school.
Oh, you were very. You've always been brilliant.
Okay, tell me.
But it was somewhere, I think 2012. That was when
I completed. Yes.
Yeah, 2012. Yes. So you were actually 2 years ahead of me because I was in third year. I graduated as part of the third year batch, but I was in second year at the time, and you were in fourth year. Yes, and then it was your WASI season, and I think the day before elective maths paper.
Yes.
Yes.
What did I do?
And you were teaching some of your colleagues.
Oh, really?
On the board. Yeah.
Instead of learning, I was teaching other people. That's so bad.
I mean, you were prepared. You were prepared.
Oh, okay. So you noticed that?
I noticed that, and it was how meticulously you were going about it, explaining in detail, like a professor.
Oh, really?
Yes. And I was like, what? So I was in the class that day, and I was stunned by.
You were also in the class?
I was part. I mean, it was not like a normal class. It was in the evening prep time. Yes. So I was there, and I took keen interest in how you were.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But that was because it was maths. Maths was the only subject I knew back then.
I don't believe that.
So I had an issue. I don't know whether it's a good or bad thing. I would specialize in the most difficult things. If you can develop that, you'll be great. Yes. So in life pays you more if you solve the most difficult problems. Let me tell you one way to be rich. If you can solve a problem for a millionaire, a dying problem, if a millionaire has cancer and he has 3 months to live, and you can keep him alive, can you imagine how much he will pay you?
Sure.
That's why doctors are rich. But there are a lot of other problems. So if you can solve high value problems, you would find yourself in a wonderful place. So back then, the high value problems were in maths. I don't know whether upon knowing this that I became good in maths, or I was good in maths before I realized this. But even when I started working, it really influenced how fast I grew.
Okay.
In the corporate space. If you know the history of my corporate growth, I did in 5 years, or people doing 10 years. Yes. So I was looking out. If they say this is very difficult, it cannot be done, I try to do it.
Wow.
So because of that, if they say it's very difficult, they say call Viglo.
Okay. Okay.
And it created some good opportunities and some bad problems for me.
Interesting.
That
Focus on solving a difficult problem.
Yes.
Wow.
So you don't work too hard. I go to work late though. I'm not good at standing up on time because I stay 5 hours later. So I don't sleep early. So it eats into my morning. So I never have morning appointments. But what I was trying to say is that though I had those challenges, I realized that my bosses are not bothered because I would deliver. I was working twice as hard. And you don't see me like carrying the most difficult bag of cement and those things. No. So I come and stay back. Who is getting paid the most? Why is it getting paid the most? What is it doing? Okay, how can I do it better? I was not deliberate about it then, but later I realized that that was what I lived on, I thrived on. So the person who solved the most difficult problem gets paid the most. So just be on the lookout for that in life. Solve valuable problems. Some people are solving very trivial problems. So you work so hard and you don't get anything. You get it?
Wow. Interesting. Okay. Let me go into some real estate common. You're an expert, so
Yes.
Some common issues that I've seen, especially about young people who are trying to set up some things for themselves.
Yes.
I heard somebody say that when you build to rent,
Yes.
it's a bad business idea because it may take you like 10 years for you to start making profit. What's your take on that?
It's a bad business, but it's a good investment. Okay, and I understand why the person said that, because it takes you 10 years to get your money back.
Okay.
And if you sell beans, you make your money back every month.
But why is real estate such a big deal? Why is it such a booming business?
Because if you sell beans and it rains and you are not able to sell, if you come on the third day, you will make sales. So the chances of losing everything is high. Real estate has one of the least risks. Now, where you make your money on real estate is the appreciation of your value. So if you build, the building itself costs you some money. You don't lose the building. You're just earning revenue. It's not costing you too much. It's passive investment. So what the person should be saying is that should not be your first business. And that will lead us to something that I tell people, that don't let your ambition to build keep you poor. A lot of people make that mistake. So they have some small money, they want to do real estate. You will crash. Real estate is for people who already have a steady cash flow. When you have a steady cash flow for some business, that money is sitting at the bank, evaporating at 35% per annum, literally. That's inflation and exchange loss. So it's better to put that money into land that gains value at, depending on how you look at it and the opportunities around. At East Legon, the land gained value at 100% per annum at some point.
100% per annum?
Yes, on the CD. But on the dollar, it's usually 20.
But that's huge.
Yes. So inflation and other things caught up with it and it looked really big. That's why real estate, we always talk dollars though. Because the land is more valuable than the currency. So you don't talk the land. You don't bring the land down to the level of a volatile currency like the city. You understand? So it's getting really complicated. So let's simplify the conversation. So if you build to rent, you're not going to make the money back as fast as if you invest into a car transport business. If you invest into transport business and the car crashes, you lose everything. If not, you have to insure the car. It costs you a little more. If it crashes, the car is replaced. Okay. But if you do real estate, you bought the land. After 10 years, the land which you bought for 100,000 Ghana cedis, you know how much it will be worth in 10 years? It won't be less than 1 million Ghana cedis. The land would have skyrocketed in value. So that's where the big money is if you are looking at real estate. The big money is the valuation when the property earns more value.
Okay.
You understand? So the cash flow is just passive income.
Okay.
It's not money that you need to survive.
Okay.
I was telling somebody, my wife drew my attention to something last week that all my businesses don't have cash flow. All my businesses, like as a realtor, I can make money once or twice in a year. And I'm good.
I see.
Yeah. As Groove Up, I can make money once a quarter. Like significant money. And I'm good.
I see.
You understand? So I'm comfortable. I'm never really stressed. Though I'm stressed, I'm in a good place. I'm in a better place. You get it? But my wife gets paid every month. So she wants me to work. I'm like, no, I'm no longer doing that thing again. It's not interesting because I can make 12 months salary in one transaction. So it's just about getting the second transaction and I'm happy. You understand?
That's amazing.
So when you start in life, you need the chop money business with good cash flow, business that can pay you every day or every month. That's fine. And that is not real estate. So when the rent start coming in, that is just a complementary advantage in real estate. But the real value is in the appreciation of land value.
I see.
If a university or an airport is built in that area after you bought the land, it will appreciate by 500%.
You are done. Wow.
Yes, that's what our forefathers were looking into and talking about when they say buy land.
Okay. I heard you also say that most Ghanaians will not own a house in their lifetime.
Yes.
It's like a luxury thing.
So which one is the problem? The luxury or the Ghanaians not?
That statement really struck me. That most Ghanaians will not be able to build a house in their lifetime.
Okay, let's not talk about my statement. Look back at the numbers.
It's true. It was a realization. Yeah, it was an eye opener.
Okay, so it's a research. Don't pay me for this.
Okay. But then, if we want to be different, like young people coming up listening to this conversation, they want to do different. What can they do to not be part of that average group?
I like that. So the problem is not to be an average Ghanaian.
Okay.
Because no matter what you and I do, the average human being all over the world will not own a house. It's not a Ghanaian crisis. The second realization is that you don't have to own a house. Why are we trying to own the house? Have you ever thought about it?
Well, I mean, for one, peace of mind, no landlord issues.
Okay, that's what we think. Is you don't have to own the house. The reason why, one, Ghanaians want to own the house is so that they have a flamboyant funeral, which you can just pay $1,000 to transition now and tell them that whenever you die, they should bury you. If you pay $1,000 to transition and tell them that whenever you die, they should bury you, know what that means? It means you don't have to put $30,000 into real estate. As the first question you asked me. So that $30,000, you can now use it to do business that makes it $30,000 every year. And now, you can buy as many houses as you want. So sometimes our dream to own a house is what keeps us poor. Look at your father. I don't know your father. I'm going to sample your father in Viglo. He retired at 60. Does he own 2 houses? He owns one nice house that you people will do his funeral. You know when he started building the house? In his 40s. And when he retired, he used the rest of the money to finish it. Wow, that house kept him poor. If he used that money to do a business in his 40s, he would have built a house every 5 years in his 50s. This is finance. This is not real estate. So when you start thinking real estate, make sure you have the cash flow before you do real estate. You don't start real estate with salary, especially if you are not employed by Microsoft earning $5,000 a month. When we say this, people are like, oh, when we talk about employees earning salary, using it to do some stuff, people are like, but they know somebody who earns $10,000 a month. How many are they? We are talking about 30 million Ghanaians. 30,000 of them will earn more than $10,000 a month. Another 100,000 Ghanaians will earn more than 10,000 Ghana cedis a month. The average Ghanaian, for which they ask that we should reduce the price of houses, which will never happen, earns 3 to 10,000 Ghana cedis a month. When you're earning that amount, and there is no other, this is your consolidated earning, including your tips, your dashes, your what other money do we earn?
I mean,
Allowances, gifts, and you put all together, and it's not up to 10,000. What you need is not a house, owning the house.
You need to build a business.
You need to build a business, or go back to school, get promoted, become the boss, invest into other businesses. You need something else other than a house. The moment you begin to strangle that earning with real estate, you will never be rich. That's the next thing. There are a few people who actually have a house but are not rich, especially if it is just a house. Because that piece of house is one big liability. You spend money cleaning it to pay for electricity. It's a big house, many rooms. When your brothers and sisters visit you, they don't leave. When your children come, they don't want to leave. When your in-laws come, they don't want to leave. Then you spend more money on feeding.
Wow.
Sorry.
No, this is serious.
Yeah. What you need now is a studio. At a nice age, we don't need a 2-bedroom to prove a point. That's one of the things. When you do the things to prove a point, you are already out of the competition. Why do you need a bigger house than Elon Musk?
Yeah.
Why do you need a house
in an apartment?
Yeah. Dangote. He doesn't have a house in the US. He doesn't have, he said, which I don't want to believe, that he doesn't have a house outside of Nigeria. But he has employees who have a house in the US.
Yeah.
You know what he was trying to say? Those guys, they made some small money. They are building their ego, just inflating their ego.
Mm-hmm.
That's fat.
I heard somebody say just yesterday in a TikTok video that one of the biggest assets you can have is that you don't have to prove anything to anyone.
Yes. It means you can survive if everything disappears.
It's amazing.
There comes a time in everybody's life where it will seem like everything disappeared. That time came for me in December 2023. And I'm glad it came early in my life.
I see.
Yes.
But that was when you decided to leave Silver Star.
Yeah, it thought it was a happy decision.
Well, that's what it looked like to me.
Yes, that's what it looks like. It was because I survived.
I see.
It's like war. So rebels or revolutionary fighters, when you win, you become a freedom fighter. Freedom fighters, when you win, you become a hero. But when you lose, you are a rebel.
A terrorist.
A terrorist. So it's depending on who is telling your story.
Interesting.
Yeah, I understand. Someone else can say I was sacked from Silver Star Tower. I can say I lost my job at Silver Star Tower. But now I say I quit my job or I left my job. All these things are referring to the day I stopped earning salary from Silver Star Tower.
That's correct.
I lost the latest iPhone, which I had as estate manager of Silver Star Tower. I lost the latest HP Inspire laptop, 7 i7, 1 terabyte storage, all the fancy stuff, touch screen, 360 screen. I lost it. I lost a Citroen C4. You know Citroen C4 SUV, unlimited fuel.
Yeah.
I lost petty cash. I lost an allowance, travel allowance. Mention all the good.
You were living the life.
I was happy. I nearly lost my dreams if I didn't lose that job.
What?
I was heavily decorated. It's called glorified messengers.
This is deep.
Yes.
So as good as all that was, it was better to leave it behind.
Yes.
That's interesting.
When the moment you find yourself in such a job, you lose your dreams. So for the past 5 years, it took a lot of discipline to work on my dreams at a very lower pace. And all the guys who were able to do more as entrepreneurs than me, it's because they didn't have jobs as good as mine. Look at the entrepreneurs. A few, like my business partner, who, because his job is even way better than mine, so he had the cash flow to inject into the job. But mine was even not a cash flow. You get it? A lot of decoration, but if the job is not giving you cash, the cash that hits your hand is not good. Cash is king. I hear it's a book. You can look for it. If you don't have cash, a toothless dog.
Hmm.
But something better than cash is an asset that can always give you cash. So cash is king, but assets are God.
Wow. What would you say are like the biggest mistakes people make when trying to build a house, from your experience?
Not employing me, not talking to me
Okay.
before they start. Thinking that you can build it cheaper than a contractor. So a lot of people, they think and hear, and it could be true, and it's true, that I am expensive. Real estate developers are expensive, contractors are expensive. So they think they can build it by themselves. What they do is that they have moved the cost of building to cost of maintenance and agony and trauma living in the house. They buy very cheap fixtures. Plumbing materials are some of the expensive things in a house. If you buy cheap ones, your house will smell like shit. Electrical wiring is the most expensive element in a house. If you buy cheap ones, your house will burn. Iron rods and cement are some of the most expensive. Is the most expensive structural element, but some of the most expensive elements in the house. If you buy cheap one, you can't stay in the house. If there be an earthquake and Accra trembles every 10 years, you will lose your house. So they are being clever, but they have a lot of agony in the future. I'll tell you something. I used to make videos about damp. I've not had the courage to make video about one adverse effect if your house is damp and if you hide the damp.
Okay.
I've seen it. I've heard it. Damp is fungal infection.
I see.
It means your wall is infected by fungi, and fungi can be airborne, so you can inhale it if damp is in your washroom.
Wow.
And if it gets into your throat, then you will have fungal infection on your lungs. So within 10 years, you will die of some lung infection. And the doctors cannot diagnose it. They cannot even figure it out. They wouldn't know. So they will ask you a lot of questions. Where do you go? Where do you work? Is anybody else infected at your workplace? You realize that nobody else is infected at your workplace. But you realize that the whole family has a fungal issue. Maybe after this video, people should go and check the records. And lots of people are dying because the research is not even that detailed to even know this is the cause of the thing. That fungi in the wall is killing a lot of people.
I see.
And it's a simple problem. Sometimes people say it's rising damp. It's not true. It's plumbing problem. If the damp is only around the washroom, are you trying to tell me that the water is rising only around the washroom? The plumbing works.
Wow. Let's talk about social media because let's move away from real estate for I know you. The last time I checked on Facebook alone, you had like 30,000 followers.
Yes.
In total, I'm sure you're approaching like 100,000 across all platforms.
Yes, hopefully.
Yeah.
So put Groove Up and myself together.
From your experience on social media, if somebody wants to become a content creator, what's like your best advice for them?
Start now.
Okay.
Yeah, just start. Don't wait for anybody. Don't get a better phone. Don't listen to anybody. Forget every excuse. Just start.
Okay.
There's no way you will regret it.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. I know you also do a lot of work with Wode Maya.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, you've also seen how he also goes about his content and all. Maybe what are some of the tips you've also seen about his work that you can share with us?
Nothing can stop him. And never give up. Wode Maya once said, "Life has been so hard for me. I thought life is always hard." The things that Wode Maya prevailed over, a lot of us would have quit if we found ourselves in that situation. When I quit my job after 6 months, after 8 months, I got another job. He told me that, "Viglo, what you are going to do is a normal thing. If you go back to that job, you are going to regret." I was earning half my salary when I quit to do YouTube. The YouTube earning reduced by 90%. I nearly died. I had to relocate.
Really?
That's what he said. I am quoting is right. That's what the
No, say that again.
He said he was earning half his salary in China on YouTube. So he decided to quit and do YouTube full time.
Okay.
When he did YouTube full time, the earning on YouTube reduced by 90%.
My goodness.
So your earning of 150% of something is now about just 5% or 10%.
That's crazy.
Because you've quit the job, now the YouTube is no longer earning what it was earning.
That's enough to crash you, man.
He crashed. No, it was not enough to crash him. He crashed. So he had to let go of everything except content creation. He relocated to a village in China and started off from there. He had to actually take a side job for survival in the village. And I'm sure he was purchasing someone. A lot of people don't even want to pay. A lot of people, if they have a fancy phone, it's not because of the video quality. This one I'm guilty, so I'm paraphrasing it. But I think I have a fancy phone because I shoot videos. But I don't have an iPhone. You understand? A lot of people have cars they can't afford. Someone asked me, at what age did I make my first million? I said, I've never made $1 million in my life. I said, hey, so how come? Like, depending on how you... Yes, the businesses have seen $1 million, but it's not me.
Oh,
Those kind of stuff. So I try to avoid that
I
question.
see. But because now it's clear.
The guy got the thing. He said, okay. And then he did the math. I said, oh yeah, then maybe I'm not too poor. So he changed the question. He said, at what age did you buy your first car? I said, I've never bought a car.
Really?
Yeah. But if you want to count the number of cars I've driven or owned, it's quite a lot. Huh? You see, you are shocked.
I'm confused.
So if you dare compete with me and you buy a car, you are making some very bad decisions. How about you ask me, what age did you buy your first house? I said, I've never owned a house. I live in my own house. That's how the white people are rich. I tell you, one of my mentors, after he had sold 20 houses, was living in a rented apartment. He's now one of the richest people on my contact, if not the richest person who knows me in person.
I see.
He's the richest person who knows me in person. He drove one car for 12 years.
Wow.
It was a V8 though.
Okay.
But he told me, Viglo, I can buy a Bentley every month.
Wow.
He drives a V8. He has 3 V8s out of humility. So that's the advice. Wode Maya never stops. Nothing stops him. And if he's shooting a video, he has to finish shooting it. That's one problem I've had with people. We shoot videos, and then like the video is not good, we have to make corrections before we can post. Are you joking? The work has already been done. You post it like that. And I'll tell you that viral videos are not your best videos. Yeah, your best videos don't get views. Think about it. Ask any content creator.
Yeah, actually, myself, some of the videos that I performed the best, I didn't expect them.
You not expect them.
The ones I really put the work in, I said, no, this one will blow.
That's the truth. You keep grinding. You stay humble. You understand. You build networks. And one other thing he did, usually for content creators, I have to tell you, when you start getting gigs, the tendency to charge is very high. The power he had then, now he charges to manage the stress, was that he gave freely. So things that TV stations would have charged us for, he gave it freely. And after he gave it and walked away, people called him to come back. So when you are starting, the deal is to post a video every day. The deal is not to make money. You are building wealth.
Okay.
When that time is due that you cannot go if you are not paid, nobody will tell you. Because you ask when can you look at your calendar, the next available date is 3 months away. You give it to them, they tell you, we will double how much you charge if you can come tomorrow. They say, if you can quadruple it, I'll come. It's a deal. You charge, sometimes I mention price and the people agree instantly. You know what that means? They're expecting you to charge more.
Yeah.
But when you begin to cringe on the money that the people don't even believe that you are worth, they need to see in action before. You give them a taste. You know Abuchi? They always let you taste. So that you don't walk away when they are heating it up.
Yeah. Let's talk about Africa. We are almost done.
Yes.
Africa, and then we do a little bit about personal development for the youth. So, what do you think is when you compare Africa to the outside world, and you look at how our infrastructure is, how our economy is, what do you think is the African problem?
A lot of people say it's a leadership problem. I agree with them, but that's not the problem. That's the symptom of the problem. So we have a headache, but it's not our head that is not right. Maybe because our balls are pressed against our scrotum. The problem is a mindset problem. Mindset is a little different from a leadership problem. So every African is suffering from that problem, and the leaders are from among us. So we say that we have a leadership problem. Then we change the leaders, and the problem is still there. We change the leaders, and the problem is still there because the mindset is all over the continent. And that mindset is that we have been programmed. I don't want to say we have been programmed by our compatriots from Europe and the likes, because that programming they did was long ago. We could have fixed it by now if you really wanted to. But
You're speaking my language.
yeah, because I'm an African, let's blame someone else. And that's the African problem.
Okay.
We have been programmed to think, I said it somewhere, that pastors and politicians are the only way to salvation. And the devil is the only cause of our problems. So the African is innocent.
And that's the real problem.
That's the problem. So if I'm hungry, it's because John Mahama has made tomatoes too expensive. So that's why I couldn't eat rice. When the African becomes rich, what does he buy? A food made in China. He eats rice made in China. He wears clothes from Italy. And he has a girlfriend in US.
What you are saying is actually is very deep, because I watched a video that Wode Maya made recently about a white town in South Africa.
Yes.
And this town has about just 3,000 people.
Yes.
But they've decided to develop the town. They've taken their mind off everything.
Yes.
They are not expecting help from the government of South Africa or whites, other whites in other parts of the world.
Yes.
They have taken it upon themselves that they are building a town for themselves, and it will be the best they can produce. And everybody is hands-on helping to do it.
Yes.
And when I watched that, I said, what is it about our culture that we every time we are expecting help to come from somewhere, we've not taken the responsibility to build our country? And how can we begin to fix that?
We have to begin to think like that man. The man in the video. You know, that video, I'm one of the few people who agree with the white man. I hope you agree with him.
I do. Largely.
I agree with him. What he was saying was true. You see, when the African goes to the US, you know, they like to buy land and own a house in the US and hope that the American street is nice in the US. And that's why they are coming back. They say the whites do not accept them in America. So they are coming back to their own land. And for that matter, the American is a bad man. Now you are in Africa, an American has come, has bought the land, paid your grandfathers, they use it to marry other wives. And they said they have bought the land, so don't come here. And you are saying they are bad people. We tie our cousins or our children or people who we have labeled enemies. We go raid the whole village, seize the young men, rape the young men, and sell them to whites. Now we say the whites came to enslave Africa.
We cannot be enslaved without our consent.
Yes. We signed up for it. And you know what we took? Mirrors, gunpowder.
Yeah.
If there were condoms, we would have taken it.
Plates. They were cutlery.
We are guilty. So
but how can we begin to change all this?
Some change has happened, just that we don't see it happening.
Okay.
Now Africans are even creating content. Those days, all the YouTube videos we were watching were made by whites.
That's correct.
I didn't even know they were getting paid.
That's correct.
So the change is happening. When was the last time you took a decision that will affect your next 25 years?
Hopefully today.
You get it. So our scope is different. The African decisions usually 6 months to 1 year. The very smart ones, they take 4-year decisions because of the election.
Okay, let's talk a little bit personal development and we wrap up.
Yes.
What would you say is the best advice you've ever received in your life that has really helped you?
In my life, I would have said never give up. But my father gave me an advice, and it meant a lot of things later on as I was growing up. And this advice was given to him by his grandfather. He was said that in this life, 3 things that you should be very careful with. As much as possible, you shouldn't deal with them. 1, another man's wife. 2, chieftaincy. 3, land.
You shouldn't deal with.
As much as possible, you should stay away from them.
Really?
Yes.
Land?
That's why it's now as much as possible. I'll tell you a thing about land. Yesterday we were going to buy a land. The land is the most disputed land I have ever visited in my life. That whole region was a dispute between 2 towns. And then the owner of the land had a dispute with his brother, who was late. So the brother's son was there. So the land had 2 owners. And there was a 3rd person who was a woman who wasn't there, who had already sold some other portions of the land.
Wow.
It was the cheapest land I've ever priced in my life.
I see.
I would have paid there and then. You know what that means? I would die sooner than my time. Do you understand? And you know why chiefs fight? They fight over the land. Land is the most risky thing on earth. That is why it has become the most profitable thing on earth. Or because it is the most profitable thing on earth, it has become the most risky thing to deal with. Because men will kill for power. And the person who owns the land is the most powerful person. And that's how chiefs are powerful. And that's why chieftaincy is what it is. And chiefs and kings kill each other because of women. These are the three causes.
So they are all interlinked.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So let's say you were 20 years old again, or you met your 20-year-old self. What's the best advice you would have given?
I'll tell him to create a YouTube channel and post a video every day.
Okay. I see.
That was not what you expected.
No, not at all.
You wanted me to ask him to save. The money is useless. I'll ask him to create a YouTube channel and make a video every day. But if he asks me for a second advice, I'll ask him to study very hard. That's one of the few regrets I have in my life.
That
I didn't study hard enough.
you graduated the first class from 10 years.
Not true. I almost got a first class.
Oh, really? I thought you got the first class.
No, I changed my mind in the final year.
You changed your mind?
Yes. In life, especially in your 20s. I think I said that was in the beginning of this video.
Yeah.
You have to gain value. From 20 to 30, that's the time to learn. Now I realize that I'm paying for the things that I refused to pay for in my 20s, literally. So if I had the chance, I'll pay for them. And then I didn't have to pay for them with cash. I just had to open books and read, attend more seminars, watch reasonable YouTube videos. I don't know what. I don't even want to say it. Like, people are watching this video, you don't know Connected Minds, you don't know Ali Abdal, you don't know Wode Maya, you don't know Adan, Sani, you don't know NBA. Who do you know? Do you understand? Some people have not even watched Mahama make a 30-minute presentation before talk about his life. Some people don't even listen to their parents. You understand? So the kind of content they are consuming is who they have become. That's what I was trying to tell you. So what are they consuming? Sensual videos. So all their inspiration in life is to sleep with the most women per day. Or they watch rap videos. So they want to buy fancy cars. They don't even figure out how to buy the car. Then you are compelled to steal their money in order to buy the car.
Before we finish,
Yes.
maybe your final words to my cherished viewers.
I've said all my final words. If possible, watch this video again, because good content is understood when you sit back, relaxed, and consume it again. All the best things that have happened to me in my life, if there is a chance for me to recreate it, I'll do it again. I'll tell you something. I was not smart in Keta school. I've never really thought I was a smart person. But what I did was I had always improved my efficiency at doing things. And I'd always optimize my life. You have to optimize your life. Anything that slows you down, let go of it. Last week, I changed my phone. I opened my WhatsApp and I scrolled through the groups. If it's not a group I pay attention to, I exited it, I deleted it. Every year, I send a random message. Who do people think I am? I read them. If they say something that I don't like, I work on it. If they say something that I am impressed that people think I am, which I probably am not, I deliberately begin to work at it.
I see.
So now that you claim I'm smart, I have to go read some more. Because when the people who watch this video see me, they will be expecting wisdom.
Oh, but
go on to me.
You are very smart.
If they don't get wisdom.
I think you are just being humble, but you are very, very smart.
You understand? Yeah. But it's a thing about life. So whenever you get a compliment, it tells you that this is a thing people appreciate. It's a thing you can get paid a little more for.
Yeah, that it makes sense.
You understand? And whenever you get reprimanded, it's something you have to cut away. You cannot bet and womanize and all the bad stuff and become rich earning 3,000 Ghana cedis. That's why our parents did not do those things. Yeah, you don't save. You don't have a business. You will not buy a house. Any advice people give against any form of investment, you accept it. So you don't have real estate, you don't have business. So business Ghanaians will steal your money. You don't have treasury bills because of haircut. You are not working hard at work because you don't want to work for your boss. You want to work harder on yourself than for your boss. When you come home, You watch TV because you believe in quality family time. As for you, every excuse that prevents people from doing a good thing,
That's what you buy.
you buy into it. I used to have a friend like that.
So that brings us to the end of a very exciting and insightful interview. I hope you learned a lot, because I know you should learn a lot. If you didn't, you should go back and watch it, like he said.
Yes.
Anyway,
Watch this video again and send it to all your friends who are idiots. It's a nice way of not having to tell them.
Okay, so until I see you again in the next video, remember, as I always tell you, that we need to thrive in Africa, because that's the only way we'll have a thriving Africa. See you next time.